Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. It's about the middle of the year. June is coming to an end and it is time to update everyone on my panning goals for 2023. This is my plan to pan mid-year check-in. I'm going to update you on all of the items that I'm trying to either finish up or hit a goal on this year. I have 30 items in total to catch you up on, so I'm going to go pretty quick through this video if I can. I'm excited to say that I am on pace for most of my goals and I've already met a lot of them, so I'm really excited to update you on how I'm doing. By the way, my name is Jessica. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video today. If you enjoy it, please stick around and subscribe to my channel. Let's go ahead and get into it. First item in my list is my Lorac Mega Pro 2 palette. This is in my Pan That Palette series or Pan Those Palette series. I am panning 2 different palettes this year. I'll go ahead and link that playlist right over here in the cards if you haven't seen it already. But my goal for this palette is to hit pan in every single shade. There's 32 shades in here, and I think I had 7 or 8 pans to start with in this palette at the beginning of the year. So here's what my palette was looking like at the beginning of the year, and here's what my palette's looking like today. And as you can see, I have hit quite a few new pans in there. Been making regular progress with this with my Pan Those Palette series, so that's definitely helping me reach my goal. But I still have 9 more pans to hit in this palette and 6 more months to do it in. So I'm hopeful that I should be able to do that, but it's definitely going to take some more focus from me in order to accomplish that goal in the time that I have. I've been very distracted with lots of other eyeshadow, and it's just been hard to get the concentrated use on this palette that I would like to get. I don't need to expand these pans too much, but I would like to hit those remaining pans. They're all mostly these shimmer shades, and I think I have like 1 or 2 mattes. Yeah, just 2 mattes still to hit pan on. So that's the first item. I'm pretty sure I'm on track to hit that one. Also for my Pan Those Palette series is my Tarteist Pro Glow palette. My goal for this item is to use it up completely. Now here's what it was looking like in January of this year, and here's what it's looking like today. And as you can see, I have pan in every single shade, and I am very close to finishing these 2 shades here. But these ones have a long way to go on them, and I don't know if I'll be able to use these up entirely by the end of the year, but I am excited to see how far I can go and how big I can get those pans. And as a Hail Mary, I might consider frankening this palette into a bronzer or something like that so that I can get some major use on it before the year is up. So that's how I'm doing on that one. Again, I think I'm at a good place. Like, I'm not as far ahead as I would maybe like to be, but I think I've come pretty far, and I'm excited to see what I can do with the remainder of this year on this palette. The next item in my plan to pan list is a hair item, and it is from Bedhead, and it is their Small Talk product. And this is a Thickifier Energizer Stylizer. I basically use this to make my hair wavy when I air dry it. It really does help to add some nice shape and accentuate my natural waves and just really bring them out. It doesn't last that long as a style. When I wear my hair wavy like this, it really only looks good for the first day, and then the second day it just looks really messy. But I am also using it to blow dry my hair straight, and it's working fine for that as well, just to kind of help to give a nice hold to my blowout. This one was pretty full in January, and I just recently brought this into my project pan a couple months ago, and I think I've used about, I don't know, an inch of product since bringing it in, and I'm excited to see how much faster I can get use on this product. I'm really trying to stay in the habit of styling my hair, and I'm hopeful I should be able to finish this by the end of the year if I continue consistent use on this one. Okay, now we have some exciting news finally. The next item is also from Bedhead. This is their sea salt spray. It's called Queen Beach, and I am happy to say that this one is now empty, so that's 1 goal met already. These next 2 products were also hair items, but they have already been thrown away. They're both from Amika. One was the anti-humidity spray, which I emptied. It's in my empties video. I'll go ahead and get some footage of it here and insert it so you can remember what I'm talking about. And then I also finished the blowout spray. So 2 different sprays there, and they were both travel size. I think they were like a gift with purchase, so they came in some kind of gift package from Amika with a styling product, and those are now both empty. This next item is a mask. This is a seaweed mask from some random brand, Samudra, I don't know. And my goal is to finish this up by the end of the year, and I am sad to say I've only used this 1 time. I just am not masking these days. I really don't need it. My skin is in such a good place after coming off of Accutane, and I've really just been keeping it simple with my skincare and trying not to agitate my skin very much. This is very old. It says it's best before 2017. So that was 6 years ago. And it's seaweed. I don't know how big of a change that makes, if it's still effective in any way. If you know anything about seaweed masks or expiration dates and different products, please let me know in the comments, because I am considering just decluttering this. I just don't want to reach for it. I've mixed it with yogurt to make it more hydrating. It was fine. I just I don't really want to go through the effort of putting on a mask, especially a mask like this that I have to mix up myself. I would just much prefer it being in a tube ready to go, and I would probably use it a lot more that way. But every time I make this, I make too much of it because I want to get the ratio right, and then I have to store it, and then I forget about it, and then it just gets gross, so I have to remake it, and that whole process is just too much work for me. So let me know what you think about the expiration date here, if I should continue to use it. I would like to maybe try and use it a couple more times just to say that I did before the end of the year, but I'm excited to see what you all have to say about it down below. This next item is an eye cream from e.l.f. This is their CBD eye cream, 50 milligrams of CBD, I guess, in this little tube. I don't really know, but it's supposed to be soothing and reviving, and I'm just not really a eye cream person. I just typically use my moisturizer around my eyes. I don't like to buy an additional product for under my eyes. I personally don't think it's necessary in my skincare routine, but I'm really going to try and finish this up. I have other eye creams that I'd like to use that I've gotten as samples and gifts with purchase and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm getting close to this one. I really need to remember to reach for it. I typically forget, and then by the time I'm laying in bed, I think, darn it, I should have put on that eye cream. But by that point, I'm already laying down, I'm horizontal, and I am not getting back up to put this on. Really think if I push on this in 2 months, maybe 3, I could have this finished up. It's definitely going to be finished by the end of the year. I just have to remember to use it. The next item is a perfume. This is from Versace, their Bright Crystal perfume. This perfume was pretty full when I first mentioned it in January. If I have footage of it, I'll include it here. And I'm happy to say that just recently, as of today, I believe, I'm calling this one empty now. This is as empty as I can get it. I keep trying to spray out little spurts, and sometimes, it's a little bit comes out, but not enough for like a full application. And with such a little amount in there it is. You can kind of just see it in the corner. That's all there is. And it's really hard to get it out of the bottom because the thing goes down to the middle where it's really flat and low. And it's really, really hard to get out. So I'm going to call this one empty. I'm really excited about that because I've just been trying to work through my perfume collection, trying not to overspend in perfume because that is a category that I really just like to collect. I think the bottles are so beautiful. I love having a variety of scents, but I'm trying to keep it minimal. And right now I'm down to 5 scents sitting over there on my little back tray. And I already have my eye on a new one. So now that I've finished one up, I'm going to try and focus on those 3, give them some love, or those 5, I mean, give them some love. And then eventually when the time is right and I'm due for a little treat, I'll indulge in a new perfume. So that one is going back to Sephora, actually. I just found out that Sephora does like a makeup recycling system. Did you know this? I did not know this. I was in Sephora the other day, which, rarely happens these days in store, what? But I do like to stop into a Sephora just for fun, as most girls do when I'm walking by one and I'm out and about. So I was in there and I was by the front entrance and I saw this like recycling container with all these instructions on it. And I went up and looked at it, and it is a little recycling bin where they collect glass, metal, plastic components of makeup that have been emptied and cleaned out. And I just was so excited to see that because I never know what to do with my recycling items. These are made of products that can go in the recycling bin of glass and plastic and metal, but I just feel weird putting them in there. I feel like they're not getting recycled. I feel like that's just not the right place to put them. And if there's a special makeup receptacle that is recycling this makeup packaging for more makeup packaging, I just feel like that's a more direct way to recycle, even though I know recycling is like kind of a scam and it's not always being recycled in the way that we imagine it is. The best thing to do is reuse items as much as possible and just not buy packaging when you can. But I'm going to get off my soapbox and I'm going to bring this back to Sephora, and hopefully that means it's going to a better place than it would if I just threw it in my regular recycling receptacle here at my home. Even though my city has a very good recycling program from what I've heard compared to other cities, blah, blah, blah. It's empty, and that's another goal that I met already. halfway through the year, so that's great. Another perfume is this rollerball that I also finished. This is from Giorgio Armani. It's their Sky de Joe, and it's a really lovely scent. I actually got this as a gift when I purchased another perfume from Macy's a couple years ago, around my wedding time, I believe it was. That was 4 years ago now, and it is now empty. So happy to say that one's gone. I've been carrying it around for a while, but it's a really nice scent. I just don't really love rollerballs typically. The next 4 items are all sample size perfumes, and I don't have them here with me, but if I have footage of them, again, I will insert it. So I had 4 little sample sizes. There was the Dylan Blue. That's actually a men's cologne, but I did wear it and I enjoyed it. The Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue, also empty. The Elle Artisan Parfumier perfume, I don't know what that is, but it's empty. And then I had this really random brand, CM Roma de Provence. That's another empty sample. So happy to say those are all gone. Those were an easy wham bam, thank you ma'am. I just got those done really, really early in the year. There are 2 foundations that I'm trying to finish up this year. The first one is from Kosas. This is their skin, this is like the only foundation they have, but it's called the Revealer Skin Improving Foundation. And this one does expire in just a few days in July of this year, but I'm going to continue to use it up until it's empty. This is a part of my rolling project pan right now, and I've been making really good progress on it. And I'm pretty sure I only have about maybe a quarter of the product left in here. I think it's pretty darn low in this bottle, probably all the way down here. And I know that I'll be able to finish this up soon after the expiration date. So excited to call that one an empty very soon. And that means that I can get started working on the next foundation I'm trying to pan, which I haven't even touched this year. This is from The Ordinary. This is their high coverage formula. And I got this actually for free at Ulta with a gift with purchase. And I've used it a couple times and have quite a good little dent going in already. So I think this one would probably go pretty quickly once I start working on it. It'll definitely be better for the colder months of the year, but I'm really not sure. I'm just not really remembering how I like this foundation and how it wears. But I'm excited to reach for it. As soon as I finish that Kosas one, I'll get started on this one. And I don't know if I'll be able to finish it, but I should get pretty close to finishing this before the year is up. This next item is also missing. I've already disposed of the component, but it is from number 7, and it was their powder, like their illuminating powder. I forget the exact name of it, but here's what it was looking like when I had introduced this in January, and I was really close to finishing it. I had a really nice pan going on it, and I'm happy to say that since then I have emptied it out. And if I have footage of that, I will also include the empty component for the satisfaction for all of you. Another powder I wanted to finish up this year was from Hourglass. This is one of their ambient lighting powders in the shade Diffuse Light, which is their like yellowy type powder. And I absolutely love this powder. Here's what it was looking like in January. And just recently I did finish it up. Here's what it's looking like today. And I never in my wildest dreams thought that I would finish an entire Hourglass ambient lighting powder, but here you have it. And I loved using every last speck of this powder on my face, and I loved it so much I actually recently repurchased it. I tried to hold out. I really did. I held out for about a month or maybe 3 weeks after finishing this, but I really missed it in my collection, and I had a gift card, so I went for it and it came home with me. So I'm happy to say this is empty, but I have a replacement for it back in my collection. I just love it. I really fell in love with this after bringing it into one of my project pans, and it just kept going and going from there. I couldn't put it away. It just became a part of my daily makeup routine. I just love it for under the eye. It's one of my faves. So I'm happy to say I still have it. Probably could have waited, but you know, that's what gift cards are for, right? I'm working on a second ambient lighting powder this year. This is also, of course, from Hourglass, and this is the shade Dim Light. So this is their more like pinky nude shade. I've now been using this to top my bronzers and blushes. It's just kind of like blend everything together and get a nice finish on my cheek. I do have it on today just like that. So my goal for this is not to finish it up, but to hit pan on it because it was so neglected. It didn't have much use at all at the beginning of the year, and I'd had it already for several years. And maybe it's like my other powder where I just really kind of need to get to know it and fall in love with it before I can really appreciate it. And I think the dome's gone down a little bit. Here's what it's looking like today. And I don't think I'm close to pan yet, but I am making progress. And I'm hopeful that I should be able to hit pan on this by the end of the year if I continue to reach for it like I have been. Item number 20 is from my Tarteist Pro Glow palette, and I'm working on the powder bronzer in here called Sculpt. So here's what Sculpt was looking like in January. This has been a part of my rolling project pan ever since, and I do finally hit pan on this bronzer. Here's what it's looking like today. I'm trying to finish this bronzer up completely by the end of the year. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I do have a really low amount of product. It's not only a nice pan, but like a big just chunk has been worn away all around here. It's really, really low in the pan. So I think that pan should expand pretty quickly, but over here, it's still really, really high and there's a lot of product there. So I really don't know what's gonna happen with this one. I'm gonna try my darndest to finish it up by the end of the year. I should get pretty close. I don't know if I'll get there completely. I am kind of dividing my bronzer attention right now, fortunately and unfortunately, but it might just take me away from hitting that goal this year. But definitely this one will get finished up eventually. And of course, I'll be sharing that with you when it does. And here's that second bronzer taking away my attention. This is from Too Faced. It is their Park Avenue Princess bronzer, and this is their shimmery formula of that bronzer. My goal for this one is just to hit pan on it. So here's what it was looking like in January. And I just recently brought this into a project pan, so I have starting to be focused on it. And here's what it's looking like today. And I hope you'll see that that embossing on it is definitely starting to wear away. It's only a little bit left on the side here. I'm focusing my brush right around here. And I don't have a pan yet, but I think I definitely will by the end of the year. Next is my e.l.f. blush palette. My goal for this is to hit pan on all 4 shades in this palette, not to use it up completely. That would be crazy. So here's what this palette was looking like at the beginning of the year. And here's what this palette is looking like today. And you'll see I now have 2 pans out of the 4 here. I still have 2 more pans to hit, and I'm really hoping that I'll get there. I'm not sure. It's gonna take some effort, but I'm really gonna go for it. This is a part of my rolling project pan as well, so I'm reaching for this almost every single day. And I think that this one's definitely gonna be my struggle. This one should have panned pretty quickly. So once I get this one hit, this one will be my focus, and hopefully it won't be too difficult. It's not the easiest shade to reach for. It's pretty pigmented, pretty bold, but if I wear it lightly, gradually, hopefully, eventually, I'll have a pan on it. I have 2 of the Revlon Ultra HD Matte Lip colors. I have the shade Seduction as well as the shade Addiction. And for both of these, I'm just trying to use them as much as possible before the end of the year, not necessarily trying to finish them up, but just get as much use on them as I can before I declutter them at the end of December. I weighed these both in January. Seduction here was weighing 30.79 grams. Today it weighs 27.88 grams. So I've used almost 3 grams of product, which is pretty awesome. This has been living in my purse. It's just like a touch-up color. It's a really beautiful nude, really easy to wear, really easy to reach for. I like this one a lot. I would actually maybe repurchase this formula eventually, maybe if I'm in the market. And then this one I have not reached for quite as much. It was weighing 31.82 grams at the beginning of the year, and today it weighs 31.57 grams. So I've only used about 0.3 grams of this one, or 0.25 about that, but it's now in my rolling project pan, or no, it's in my Deca panning project. So I will be trying to reach for this as much as possible before the end of the year. And that will give me some good solid use on it before I declutter it. This color is not the easiest to wear. It's a little more fussy than the nude, but I think I should be able to get consistent use on it still. More lip products. You know I'm trying to get through my lip collection right now. This is from Colourpop. It's one of their Lippie sticks in the shade Button. This was a part of my rolling project pan, and I'm happy to say that this one is completely empty. And this one flew by. I used it up so quickly, and I'm actually now working on a second Lippie stick right after this one. Another Revlon product. This is the Revlon Kiss Plumping Lip Cream. I was really hoping to use this up this year, and I'm happy to say that I have. I couldn't squeeze any more product out of that. And so happy to have this formula out of my collection, although I did enjoy wearing it a lot more once my lips went back to normal after my Accutane treatment. I have 3 lip liners I'm trying to use up, or use as much as possible this year. The first one is from Colourpop. It is the Lippie pencil in the shade Contempo. And as a part of my project pan, this one is now completely used up and empty. And I've hit goal on that one. The next one is also from Colourpop. It is the red shade Bossy, and I'm trying to use this 60 times this year. I'm pretty close to halfway in my goal. I think I'm at 25 uses. So I'm a little bit behind, but not too bad. And I'm hoping that I should be able to use this one up completely in those 60 uses, hoping to have an empty with this one as well by the end of the year. And then I also brought in this third one from NYX. This is a hot pink in the shade Bloom. And I'm not really sure what I was thinking with this one. I think I just wanted to use this one as much as possible. There's no way I'm going to use this one up. I don't think I've hardly used it at all this year so far. I've used it maybe once or twice, sharpened it once or twice. I do have some pencil markings on these different pencils in the back of my notebook. So here was Contempo when I started with it, and I used it all the way down to there. Here was Bossy when I started with it, and I am down to there. And here is Bloom, and I haven't redrawn it. Oh, look, I'll hold it up for you now. So there was in January, and here it is now. So I've hardly used any of it. I don't know how far I'm going to get on this item before the year is up, but hopefully this video will serve as a wake-up call and help remind me to reach for this one and have more progress to share with you by December. It definitely won't be used up completely, but hopefully I'll get a good chunk out of it. And item number 30 is an eyeshadow primer that I've had in my collection for a long time. This is the Milani eyeshadow primer. I'm trying to use this one up completely so that I can replenish it with an eye primer I like a little bit better. So here's what this one was looking like in January, and this is now a part of my rolling project pan. Here's what it's looking like today. I've used a good amount of it, but I still have quite a bit left in there. These always have a deceptive amount of product in the end of those tubes, so I don't think this one will be done in the next month or two, but it definitely should be done by the end of the year if I continue to focus on it. And I will, because it's in my rolling project pan. So there you have it. So those are all 30 of the products that were on my 2023 plan to pan list. Of the 30 items on the list, I have hit goal on 14 of them. So I still have 16 more items that I'm trying to hit my goal on. And I'm actually feeling a little bit confident. I don't know why, but I have a few items that I'm getting really close to finishing, and I'm going to just tack them onto this list and try and focus on them for the remainder of the year so that I can have even more empties and things out of my inventory before we go into 2024. And this is just going to keep me motivated on these items and remind me to reach for them. I think they are definitely within the reach of finishing. So why not add them onto this plan to pan list? So I have 5 new items that I'm going to add to this list. The first 2 are both primers. This is from Glow Recipe. It is their Dewdrops, and this is a little sample size. I got this as my Sephora birthday gift this year, and it's a nice hydrating serum that you can put on as a primer. It has niacinamide in it, and if you haven't tried this, I highly recommend. I love this item. If you haven't gotten your birthday gift yet, I recommend picking up this one. It is so nice and hydrating, and my skin just drinks it up. It really has been enjoying it, and I've already made a good little dent in it. I've been moving the bottle around, but the level is right around there, and I've only been using it maybe a week or 2. So I should be able to use this one up pretty quickly and have this as another empty. I'm just trying to keep my primer collection very small for my next inventory video, so why not encourage myself to use this one before the year is up. The other primer is from e.l.f. This is their Power Grip Primer, and this is the original formula, the green bluey one, and this one is quite low. You can see I have a good chunk of this product used up already. It has a really big air bubble in there even. Oh look, it just moved. And I think that if I use this one during the summer, I should be able to finish this one pretty quickly. And I love this item. I would probably repurchase it. I like a sticky primer that really helps makeup to last on those long wear days, and this has really served that purpose. I think that one should be pretty easy to get through before the year's up. The next 2 items are both powders. I have a loose powder that I'm trying to finish as well as a pressed powder. So this first one is in disguise. This is actually the RCMA powder. This product in this old Tarte container, I don't even think they make this powder anymore that this container is from, is actually the RCMA no color powder. And hello, throwback. Who had this in their collection? It was such a YouTube staple for so long. So I've actually really liked this powder. It has done its job in my collection. I've had this for several years. I'm going to say about 5 years, and I'm so close to finishing it up. The remainder of it is in this component because we all know how annoying this thing is. It's like a salt shaker, seasoning shaker for powder. Who wants to apply powder that way? No one. And that is the consensus on the internet as well. So I have all the remainder of the powder in this one here, and I am hopeful, gosh, I'm getting powder everywhere. I'm hopeful that I should be able to finish this up pretty quickly if I focus on it. So here's where it's at in the level of the component here. And with 6 months, I think I should be able to get through this amount of product. This item is also competing with another powder though, so we shall see. This is from LYS Beauty. This is their Triple Fix Translucent Setting Powder in the shade Resilience. I just purchased this powder this year, and I already have a huge pan on it. This has been my daily go-to powder since I finished the one from number 7. And I think that I should be able to finish this in the next couple of months pretty easily. It's been flying. And I just think there's not a ton of product in here. That's my guess as to why it's going so fast. It just had quite a shallow pan. I hit pan on it in just, I think, 2 months of using it. And I should be able to finish that one up definitely by the end of December. And if I can finish them up both, that would be good. But at least having them on this list will motivate me to reach for both of them and make good, solid progress, if not finish them up completely by the end of the year. And the last item I'm bringing onto this list is from IT Cosmetics. This is their Brow Power. And it's this like a universal brow shade that they say works for everybody. So I've actually gone through more than one of these in the past, I think at least 2. And this one came to me, I got a good deal on it. I don't know how I got it. Maybe it was in a BoxyCharm or something like that. But it just kept coming back into my collection somehow, even without me always purchasing it on its own. But it is quite a nice brow product. Again, I finished more than one of these, so I obviously can get use on it. And this one is pretty close to being finished. This is all that's remaining when I put it all the way up. And I think I should be able to finish that within a month or two if I really focus on it. I would just love to have one less brow pencil in my inventory when I refresh it in January, because I already have a backup one that I haven't even reached for at all. So I don't need 2 brow pencils at any point in my makeup collection. Not necessary. So this one, hoping to reach for it, hoping to empty it out, and I think I can do that. Definitely think I can do that. So that is all of the updates I have for you for my 2023 pan to pan list. I now have 35 total items that I'm working on this year and trying to meet a goal on, which sounds overwhelming, but I'm pretty impressed with the progress I've been able to make and how on pace I am to reaching my goals for this year. It definitely helps me to curb my spending, check in with myself, see how long it's taking to use these items, and just stop buying things that I do not need. We don't need that, not in this economy. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I really thank you so much for being here. I hope you're doing really well wherever you are out there in the world. And until my next video, take care. Bye.